Welcome to Fouts Boxing Theory, professional striking coach and film study artist for amateur and professional boxers, as well as amateur and professional mixed martial artists. So in this video, we're going to be talking about what is shadowboxing and what is the best way to shadowbox and why. We're going to be taking a look at some professional fighters, some amateur fighters, as well as some of my private fighters, my private coaching little group, and some of my stuff as well. But we're going to be talking about a little bit of the theory, a little bit of the what, a little bit of the all the interesting stuff. But first off, well, everything that we do is in relation uh, to our target. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a little bit of Mike Tyson versus Michael Spinks. Okay, now I want you guys to not look at Michael Spinks at all, and I want you to look at what Mike Tyson is doing. Okay, that's all we want to focus on. And we want to see what he's doing because if this is the stuff that he's doing, this is the stuff that we want to practice in our shadow boxing. This is going to be the most effective stuff. Okay, so here he's going to get in on the line here, see the punch coming. He's going to pull this punch, get his weight to the back foot, and now he's going to make a pull counter, boom, and smash over the cross of the line with the rear hand. This is something we probably would want to practice in our shadow boxing, right? But it's very important to understand that shadowboxing doesn't just mean punching, right? It's every part of our activity. It's everything that we're probably going to do in a fight, okay? Obviously, Teofimo Lopez is going to be doing, behind the back punches. We probably don't need to practice that move. But do you see how Mike Tyson literally just won the fight by pulling here, getting his weight down, and coming back with this shot here? By learning how to get on the line, drag his weight off the line real quick, and then throw a punch. Okay? Now, we're going to talk about a lot of different things, but this is just one of the things that a fight might look like. Not the only one. Okay? Now, what else might a fight look like? Okay? Let's take a look at one of my favorite examples when I'm coaching and teaching. Okay? A little Floyd Mayweather Jr. Okay? We're going to watch this 20-second excerpt here and watch what he's doing. Gets on the line, off the line, on the line, off the line, on the line, off the line, on the line, makes an attack, off the line. Real quick as we break that down, okay, this is very important. Combat takes place in 3 phases, right? We don't ever want to be always on the line with our opponent. But if we're constantly always off the line, then we're technically running as long as our opponent is bridging the distance between us as well, right? Now, if we can keep them in the center, right? We're going to get on the line and then off the line. And we're going to get on the line and they're going to expect an attack. They're going to expect something. But during the second phase here, right? This is when we're going to make our attacks. We're going to make a defensive move. We're going to make right? And again, we're just supposed to be watching Mayweather. But combat exists in 3 phases. How we get on the line, how we make an attack, we make a control, we make a defensive move on the line, and then how we get off the line. Okay, and it's very important. Oh goodness. And it's very important to understand that you need to practice all of these phases of combat in your shadow boxing. And again, getting on the line, controlling, off the line, on the line, into an overhand shot, off the line, into a right hand control. But this is how we want to be, right? Practicing all of these different types of skills. Okay. Now, maybe you think that as an amateur, right, you don't need this type of activity. Well, we're going to take a look at some amateurs, but first, let's connect some dots between some shadow boxing and some, higher level guys shadow boxing and moving around. Okay, we're going to have the sound on a little bit for this. And one thing we want to be mindful of is speed and intensity. Okay, it's not just about doing all of the moves. As you can see, Amir Khan is very famous for being very fast, being able to let his hands go really quickly, and we can see that he practices that. We can also see that he doesn't really practice moving his head, which we know has cost him a few fights. He doesn't practice a lot of non-punching activity either. A little bit of circling, a little bit of pivoting on the front foot, which I'm not a very big fan of. But where's the blocking? Where's the slipping? Where's the catching of punches? A lot of that stuff missing. And it kind of makes sense from an Amir Khan standpoint because, well, uh, he beat most people just through sheer speed of his hands, right? Throwing a lot of punches. Okay, we're gonna skip over Danny Garcia. He's kind of, we'll watch a little bit of him. Not very high intense, right? Very kind of plodding along pace here. A lot of movement though, right? Again, it's very important at a high level that um, that you understand that you don't get breaks, right? When you watch that Mayweather clip, there was never a time where he's just sitting on the line, right? He's not just waiting, doing nothing, waiting to throw a punch, right? Constant movement or constant control of the line, constant active guard, constant movement, keeping a constant pace, right? It's really, really, really important. Now, we fight how we train, right? Well, trains like an animal, right? A few things I want to point out, okay? Taking a look at his movement. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay? And this very important idea, okay, in our shadow boxing is to understand our structure and how our structure relates to how we're able to generate power. Okay, and we're going to be talking about this in a little bit. Okay, because we're going to be going through a kind of step-by-step phase for how to learn to get better at shadow boxing and to get to this level. But again, we fight how we train, right? Very intense shadow boxing. He has a very intense style of fighting, a lot of movements. Now, in that Mike Tyson one, it wasn't just all punching, right? We saw him getting down and slipping down and making it so that he had defensive moves, just like he used to beat Michael Spinks down, slipping his head off the line, boom, coming up with the shot, a move that he landed multiple times, and you can see him even practicing very similar movements there. One of my favorites here, Sergey Kovalev. Again, a lot of movement, known as kind of a boxer puncher. A lot of very good lateral movement, circling his opponent very well. A lot of rhythms, a lot of down ups, a lot of bouncing. Okay. And most importantly, a lot of decisions per minute. Okay. At a high level, it's very important that you can interact with your opponent at a high level. You can move really quickly. You can make decisions really quickly. You can catch, you can block. You see stuff coming. Okay. And in the beginning of your, your shadow boxing, it can be very difficult sometimes to figure out all the patterns and all the movements and all the sequences and stuff that you're supposed to practice. Real quick, um, uh, check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System if you want to learn all of them all at once. You don't want to wait for my little series to come out, which we're going to be doing with these videos. Lot of punches, lot of sequences. Manny Pacquiao known for being very fast, practices his shadow boxing very quickly. Lot of sequences, lot of punches, a little bit of defense, right? A little bit of down up, and you can see his movement down up, right? Again, um, in the Fouts Boxing Combat System, I'm going to teach you exactly how power punching works. Okay, just like Bruce Lee said with the 1-inch punch in that theory, Bruce Lee was correct in a lot of the ways that he uses structure, but one of the ways he was not um, was neglecting the drive from the front foot in your strike. And this structure, we're going to take a look at it, and we're going to see a few examples of it. Um, but it's important to understand that all of your weight and all of your punching power and all of your athleticism comes from the ground. And the way that we learn to grab the ground and get our weight into our opponent is very, very, very important. What structure we kind of learn, and it's always going to be the ball of one foot and the ball and the heel of the other foot. Okay, whether it's the left leg or the right leg, this structure is very, very, very important. And as we go down in our shadow boxing, in our movement, in our boxing, it's very important that we are going to create this structure on the way down so that we can come up and throw a punch out of that structure. Okay, and that's exactly what Manny Pacquiao is doing at this very, very, very fast pace here. Down, up, down, up. Again, finding himself in that structure. You can see that here his weight is in that structure on the front foot. He's on the ball of the back foot, throwing many, many, many punches without breaking that structure. But again, getting back to a theory, right? It's very important that we stress ourselves when we are working out, that we put ourselves to the limit. Okay, and it's very, very, very important that we try to go harder and faster in our routine whenever we're making a routine. And again, that's the goal, is to figure out the most efficient way to practice our shadow boxing and our shadow boxing drills. Okay, now again, we're going to keep talking and showing a little bit about these pros and stuff. Another one. Now, Andre Ward, another guy that doesn't really move his head, but one thing that I do like about his training are his routines. Okay, making a lot of decisions, making a lot of movements per minute, not taking a lot of breaks, constant movement. Either he's controlling the line with punches or he's moving around with lateral movement, throwing combinations. But it's very important that you get used to a high pace, a high level of movement, because not only do we need to learn the mechanics of punching and structure and moving around and what shadowboxing is, but we also need to be getting in shape at the same time. We need to be getting stronger. It's very important that we practice with, speed and power. Um, as I was told when I was younger, a professional fighter, you everyone you see, you're just like, tell me something, give me a nugget, and he had 10 seconds, and he was like, everything you do with speed and intensity. And while that's not exactly true, it's not exactly true, right? It mostly is. And going with speed and intensity will also teach you a lot more about combat um, than just going one speed. There's so much to learn. Now again, very, very high level fighter, Gennady Golovkin. A lot of movement, a lot of not punching activity, moving around, circling. Okay, a lot of really, really, high level stuff, head movement. I don't like the pivoting on the front foot, but a lot of decisions, right? A lot of activity. This is a real workout. He's not just sitting here, oh, I'm gonna throw one punch, psh, ooh, okay, psh, oh, it's a complex, high level workout. You can see here, getting to the front foot, throwing a punch, he's going to pendulum forward, jab, double jab, right? But continuing the motion, right? Getting his weight down, up, and throwing these sequences down, up. And you can really see him, right? And Gennady Golovkin is an example of a pretty high level puncher. You can see how obvious the down, up, and the momentum from his weight coming from the ground up is. Boo. Now we're going to be taking a look at a little bit of Errol Spence here. Now, we fight how we train, right? I don't usually like these kinds of gadgets, right? I think a lot of times, because you try to make it so that the tool is usable, because he has these resistance bands behind his back from his punching, like, it's not bad, right? But there are limitations to it, to like learning how to move your head where your head's supposed to go. But the most important thing here to take a look at is there's no breaks, right? You can see also there's down ups, very, very present in his striking. One bad thing, a lot of stepping with his jab. Um, but there's no breaks, right? It's very, very, very important that you get used to moving your body for 3, 5, 10 minutes at a time. What are you going to need in a fight? What is it going to take, right? You can measure it, right? Now again, not a lot of head movement from Errol Spence when he throws his punches. His head kind of stays the same. You can see like some of it is part of because of the way that he practices with this thing. It's not allowing him to move his head across the line or really choose where his head's gonna go. Okay, but very long routines. Again, that's what we're looking to do. This is the one we're waiting for. Now Mayweather, we fight how we train. This is exactly how he likes to fight. This is exactly how he likes to move. Right? Control little space, circling in the middle of the control space, back to the lateral movement, right? Not allowing his opponent to catch up to him. Again, boxing takes place in phases, getting on the line, giving your opponent something to do, getting off the line, giving him the little jukes here, right? Really clever use of his movement. Um, and again, what do you notice about the highest level guys? There's less and less um, punching activity and there's more non-punching activity, right? And it's a very, very, very important idea because if all you practice is your striking or your punching, you're going to be very limited getting onto the line or learning how to do this. Because again, boxing takes place in phases. All combat takes place in phases. Okay, let's see who's next here. Mikey Garcia. We can watch a little bit of him. Again, a lot of non-punching activity from him as well, right? Circling, moving. Again, he's a little guy, and Errol Spence didn't knock him out, right? That's not just because Errol Spence is not a big puncher, because as not a big puncher, there's other people he has knocked out that are bigger than Mikey Garcia. But it's important to practice this stuff because if you don't practice it out here, you're not going to do it in there. It just will not. You'll never do something in a fight that you haven't trained or practiced. It'll never happen. Most, like there's like 1% where you learn a move, maybe sometimes, but no, practice it and drill it. Create a routine where you can practice all the moves. Okay. Now, for your chance to win a Fouts Boxing Combat System, stick around to the end. We're going to be talking about what you guys can do to send in your videos, your shadowboxing videos. At the end, did I just give it away? Anyway, we're going to be talking about it. But for your chance to win, stick around at the end. We're going to be giving one away, like 2 weeks probably. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at. Well, first off, we're going to be taking a look at a couple of fan videos here. Okay, a couple of fan shadowboxing videos, and let me go ahead and get that gentleman. Here we go. All right, we're going to turn the sound off here. All right, sent in this shadowboxing video, and one of the things, right? Again, it's very important that we don't take breaks. It's very important that we practice, I want to say, all of the moves. And it's very important that we have a pace that we could take to a fight. Okay. Now, how quickly is he moving across the line? What is his active guard? What is his, right? So, with this in mind, with this pace, right? He would definitely not be ready to have an amateur fight at this pace. 0% shot, right? So we would need to build some of his athleticism. So one of the things that we want to do, I have a series of shadow boxing videos on YouTube. We're going to be taking a look at, not this one. This one's my student. We're going to be taking a look at him at the end. Shadowboxing basics video here that I have on YouTube. It's a 4-part series. Okay, and it's down, up, throw punch, down, up, throw punch, down, up, throw punch. We're going to be creating that structure, throwing that punch from that structure. Okay, and these drills are designed to help you learn to transfer your weight from one side of your body to the other, from the ground to your final position. Okay, and as you do them and you learn how to do them quicker, okay, right, we'll make it less square. Again, these ones start really square because, again, building athleticism is more important in the beginning. Building the strength, the ability to do this at a high level, because fighting takes place at a high level. And we're going to be taking a look at a few of my amateurs in a few seconds, but let's get to the part where I start moving kind of quick here. Okay, and again, just practice. Again, it doesn't have to be difficult, right? But just practice moving your head, boom, boom, and throwing a punch while you do that. And again, use very, very simple drills like this to help build a base for your shadow boxing, to help build a base for your athleticism, to help build a base for your ability to make decisions. Okay, and if you can do a drill like this for 3 minutes, right? I don't want to say 3 minutes, no breaks, but like you don't have to punch every time. But the idea is just that you get used to bringing your weight from the ground to your opponent, like we see Mike Tyson doing, right? That's what he's very famous for, his explosiveness, his power. And again, if you want to learn all the tricks to this, check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System. I have all the best patterns, all the best ways for you to learn how to drill this and get the most amount of your time, okay? So the very linear style of shadowboxing here, which eventually turns into such not exactly as linear shadowboxing Not here. Well, we'll take a look at this one first. Okay. But going to here, and then again, learning how to do all this stuff, right? Again, here's all those shadowboxing drills, just throwing punches, transferring your weight from one side of your body to the other, getting your heel down, right? Moving, and again, high level pace, practicing combinations. You'll practice blocking and all these stuff that you'll do on the linear side, okay? And then you want to put it together with the pendulum step. What am I going to do that? Somewhere in here. Okay. Boom. And again, check out these shadowboxing drills, all this stuff. Again, it's very, very simple stuff. But all of these very, very low level drills, right? They turn into a lot of high level skills. Okay. Now, again, adding movement to these drills, getting out of just the linear stance. And again, like I said at the beginning of the video, everything is about what we do in relation to our target, right? And we want to be good fighters, not good shadow boxers. So we want to practice combat sequences, very particular ones. We want to add movement to them. We want to find a way to bridge the gap between us and our opponents, or defend ourselves when our opponent does that to us. And it's very important that we practice all of those skills, okay? Now, again, practice blocking, the pendulum walk, controlling the line, slipping, moving. Again, from the base of this type of shadow boxing, right? You use it to build the athleticism, then you add movement to it. And then we're going to take a look at a little bit of me shadow boxing. Now, this is when I was a little bit, out of shape. I actually hadn't been training for a few years, and I was just trying to get back into it. But one of the ideas is that you're in constant motion. You're getting as many reps between driving your weight from the ground up, down, up, right? I'm practicing offense, I'm practicing defense, and practicing as many moves as I can. Now, if you're not very experienced and you don't have a lot of, combat knowledge or experience, it's okay. Don't worry about just doing the same move over and over and over again. It's just about getting the reps, learning to get your weight from the ground to your opponent through that structure, right? Getting as many reps over and over and over in the beginning, and then turning it into real fighting. Okay, but the pace, again, a lot of times people are just going to get stuck in their shell practicing. They're not really going to be doing anything, as relevant for combat, because again, you have to be able to do other things, right, than punching. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a couple of amateur fights. Okay, so first, we're going to take a look at a gentleman named Frey. Okay, this is his fourth amateur fight. This is his fourth amateur fight. We're going to watch it with the sound. And I've been working with him, teaching him a little bit of shadow boxing, teaching him a little bit about rhythm and pace, and how to get a pace. Yeah, we're going to watch him kind of beat this guy up a little bit. Now, again, how quickly, and our guy is the guy in the red. How many decisions per second is he making, right? How active is he? Does he have an active guard? Is he moving his head? Is he controlling the line, right? Is it hard to hit him, right?
Bra, Frey.
Decent shots here. Practicing getting on the line as well as attacking, getting off the line. But again, if you think that even at a low level, right, that you don't need to be doing this stuff or practicing this stuff. Beautiful sneaking on the line with the overhand here. Controlling to get off the line.
Bra, Frey.
Pull counter there with the jab. Beautiful work here. But again, if you intend to fight somebody, you have to be ready for someone to be able to push a pace, get on the line, throw punches at you, put a lot of pressure on you. And, sometimes the fights are going to end early, right? You got to practice your best punches, your hardest shots, practice your non-punching activity. Because if you're watching the guy in red right now, You know, he's doing a great job. He's gonna obliterate this guy. Now, it's very important, okay, that you understand that you're not always going to be the guy in red. All right, and this idea is really important. Sometimes you're going to be the guy in blue. Sometimes you're going to be the guy getting dog walked. Sometimes you're going to be the guy who's not able to control the line, who hasn't practiced any non-punching activity, who doesn't know how to block punches, right? Who doesn't know how to get on the line without stepping with their punches, who doesn't know how to lunge or not to lunge. And you don't want to wind up being this guy, in the blue by not practicing this stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at another one of my students. Okay. And this is my student Alex. This is his 7th fight. We're going to watch it here with sound. Maybe we'll watch it without sound. I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll watch it without sound. I think there's going to be a lot of shouting. Okay. So my guy Alex in the red here is going to be fighting here. And excellent shifting, closing the distance between him and his opponent, blocking, weaving through the line, shifting forward, breaking the distance down between the taller, the bigger fighter, the more experienced fighter. Again, my guy here, Alex, only has 7 fights total. Or rather, this is his 7th amateur fight. Little a little leaping left hook here to break down the distance between him and his opponent, getting under the counters, landing an excellent shot, pulling in there, seeing that shot coming, blocking this shot here. Again, doing an excellent job. But again, even the amateur pace is very fast. People are very strong, they're in shape, and you have to be ready to make a lot of decisions. You have to be ready to make a lot of moves. You have to be ready to pull counter. You have to be ready to throw overhands. You have to be ready to throw. You have to be ready to do all these things. And you have to practice them in your shadowboxing, because if you don't, you won't be prepared to do them in your fights, right? Beautiful little pull counter here to boom, jab, pendulum, right hand over the top. I know he didn't get it, but breaking down the distance between him and his opponent very well, putting a lot of pressure on his opponent. And my guy Alex here, actually a pretty decent puncher here. We're going to see him. Don't worry. You're going to see. But Alex has been with me, I think, for about a year now. I think about a year. I'm not sure. Maybe a little bit less. Oh, caught him with another beautiful leaping shot. Controls space here, down into a leaping left hook. Beautiful shot after the right hand. Pulls to the front foot, and then again getting back on the line, seeing the shot coming, getting under it, catching with a big left hook. Pull counter into a 2-3 there. Beautiful shot. Oh, and he's just clobbering him. And again, as the smaller fighter, right, doing a great job. We're going to skip ahead a little bit. We don't want to watch him count. Closing the distance again with a leaping shot. And again, with all the shifting. Man, is this guy the next Dimitri Pirot? Look at this guy. Very, very difficult to hit. Landing very, very hard shots. And I think that was actually a body shot that dropped him. But again, even in the amateurs, the pace is very quick. There's a lot of decisions to make, and you have to be able to practice all of your skills, okay? And again, if you guys want the best place and the best drills to learn to practice, check them out. Now, again, round 3, we're going to take a look at, this is the 3rd round. We're going to listen to this one with some sound, but this is the 3rd round with my boy Alex here.
Go Alex, let's go. Come on, Alex. Come on.
Beautiful pull counter there. Pull off. Oh, man. Seeing almost everything coming.
Come on, Alex.
Beautiful, getting under that shot and countering. And again, a lot of decisions, a lot of catching, a lot of blocking, a lot of things going on, a very high pace, and we really have to be ready. We really have to be ready to do all these moves.
Come on, Alex. Let's go. Go on, Alex.
But very, very high pace, a lot of action, a lot of punches thrown, a lot of activity. Um, um, and again, it's important that we practice everything at a high pace, speed, and intensity. Okay, so we're going to take a look again now at a little bit of Alex here, shadowboxing, and a little bit of his routine here. Let's see if I can find it on this list. Not me. Here he is. Here he is. Now, that was him in between rounds. This is a 30-plus minute video of him training and shadowboxing, if you're wondering how much you need to be. But again, you can see the way that he trains and the drills, putting it together, adding movement, not just, right? It's not just punching, right? But it's about the non-punching activity as well. It's about creating a routine, okay, and understanding how your structure works from the ground up to make sure that you can do this routine quickly. You can do this routine with speed, power, and efficiency. Um, yeah. And now we've got one more shadowboxing video from another. I believe it's this gentleman here from another guy sending another video in, another fan. Now again, when we look at this routine, again we want to practice all the moves. We want to be moving around. We want to be, you know, and this gentleman here is an example of someone who does not have the right structure, okay, to do these moves as fast as he would like. I can tell that he's pretty strong. He might be in shape, but because of the way that he fundamentally uses his body mechanically, he's having a very difficult time driving his weight from the ground into his opponent or into his shadow boxing, right? That's why he's not able to go very quickly. But as we take a look at the way that he's walking and stepping on the balls of his front foot, okay, as he takes this small step here, we can see him taking this step here, and this prevents him from actually being able to drive his weight from the ground into his opponent. Okay? He's going to have to take that step or take that break, and it means he's going to have to step with everything, or he's going to have to plant to throw a right hand after getting to that position. But again, just watch that front foot. Watch him how often he's on the ball of that front foot. Again, it's very difficult to do your non-punching activity if you're always on the balls of your feet, because he can't ever set his weight on the front foot. He can't ever cross his opponent's line this way, and this is going to lead to a very, very, very bladed stance. Okay, so for your first tip, okay, start learning how to walk around like Mr. McAleer here. Okay, start learning to walk around, and again, take small steps. It's going to be a fast activity. Okay, it's going to be a lot of non-punching activity. But again, we also have to bridge the gap between our opponent and ourselves and our striking tools. Okay. And that's the first step. Okay. And again, when he takes a step onto the front foot, okay, we're going to see him take that step here. See how he made the structure here? He's on the ball of the back foot. He took a step on the heel of the front foot, and he's in position to throw either a jab or a right hand. Okay. And if we go back, when we take a look at him, he's not in a position here. When he's in this position, taking the small steps on the balls of his feet, again, taking the step here, he's not yet found himself in position to really throw either of these punches or to just release it. He'll still wind up probably stepping with this punch, the jab, but he can't even throw a right hand yet, not until he gets his foot down. So it just doesn't make any sense, especially when you're not in range, to be stepping on the ball of your foot every time. Okay. Again, you can see the pace, right? that you're going to have. It's very, very difficult to have a pace like that, okay, and move around if you're not on the heel of your front foot, or at least walking on your heels and moving, okay? So I believe that's going to bring us to the end of this video. I think we went over all the videos, I'm pretty sure. And that's going to bring us to our Fouts Boxing Combat System giveaway. So go ahead and send it over to matthew.fouts@gmail.com, or you can send me a clip on Instagram at foutsboxing. If you're going to sign up on Patreon and you guys want private, personalized coaching, you don't want your coaching on YouTube here, but you want someone to go into detail, every little detail about um, how you need to get better, the easiest, the quickest ways for you to get better as a fighter to become the fighter that you want to be. Check out my Patreon. It's $50 for the coaching, $50 a month. Or you can purchase my Fouts Boxing Combat System for $2.99. You can go through it. It's over 40 hours of work, tons of student work, teaching them at a high level how to do this stuff, including your boy here, Alex McAleer. And Yes. So, for your chance to win a Fouts Boxing Combat System, send in your shadow boxing videos to any of those, through any of those avenues, and the person who has the best routine will get a free Fouts Boxing Combat System. Okay, so everyone, and speed and intensity will be taken into account. But if you can't do a full round, right, do your best, right? Do your best. If you try really hard, who knows what other stuff I might give away, who knows? But send in your videos. We're gonna see what you guys look like, and be doing some more giveaways like this. We'll also be doing, I think, some heavy bag work. So if you want your heavy bag work um, taken a look at, we'll wait until we see what the routine's going to look like. But send in your shadow boxing, and we're going to be doing another video like this, going over some fans' shadow boxing. Take a look at their routines. Take a look at how they can improve, and how we can improve their structure. Again, the structure being the most important thing. If your feet are not correct when you go to throw punches, you will not have power. You will not have speed. You will not be safe, and you will not be able to defend yourself after either. Um, anyway, um, yeah, I believe that's all. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, thanks, guys.